it's kind of out of tune. You go back and you pluck all of the open strings first, and they sound kind of close, and you do this. But it doesn't ever finally feel good until you just take the D chord by itself. Play the D, that A is low. Tune the G string so the A sounds better. Now the D doesn't sound good, so tune the D. All right, but once you get all that done, if you're playing the key of D, the G and the A that go along with the D will also be in tune. So we have to cheat a lot with guitars, and sometimes, of course, we just bend the string to make it sound in tune, whichever note we're trying to get. But basically, if you tune only the open strings on the guitar, unless you happen to play in the key of E, because you're starting with an E on the bottom. So if you tune it starting on E, then if you play an E, it will sound just fine. If you play in any other key, you will have to adjust a note or two in order to make it sound better. Okay? You didn't know, you thought your guitar was bad, right? You thought your neck was bad. That's what I always thought. I'd take my guitar down to the shop about every other week. It's just, it cannot be straight. I mean, I can tune this guitar absolutely perfectly, and then when I play a G chord, the B is out of tune. And the guy on the other side of the cabinet didn't know any more than me. He said, all right, I'll straighten it. All right. And he charged me another $50 to straighten it, and they really wasn't doing anything because it wasn't crooked in the first place. Okay. So, and by the way, and shortly after Bach composed the Well-Tempered Clavier, the piano was then, the harpsichord was actually modified until it became the piano. And just out of curiosity, this is your trivia, music trivia for the day. Piano in Italian means what? Soft. Soft. Does that seem like the appropriate name for this instrument?
Yes.
Why?
Because the mouths are soft.
Can it play loud?
Yes.
Yes, it can play loud. But it can also play soft. All right, there's two things about that. First, the real name of this instrument is the pianoforte. We have kind of shaved off the forte because we're so lazy we can't say whatever that is, 4 syllables. It's just too hard for us to say 4 syllables. So we just call it the piano. But it was really named the pianoforte. And now let's try to figure out why on earth they would name something the soft loud.
Because of the soft.
And why would that be significant? That is the correct answer, by the way. Why is that significant?
Because other instruments at the time could not be soft anymore.
You are so smart, Norm. You are so smart. The harpsichord's mechanism. They used duck quills, you know, the tip of the feather that feels like plastic, only it's human or animal cartilage or whatever. But there was a hook like this, and when you pushed the key down, it shot the mechanism up above the string, and then the hook fell over this way, and the whole thing fell by gravity down to the string and past it, and in so doing plucked that string, and that's the sound that you got. Now, no matter how hard you hit that key, it just shot it up above the string, and then it was gravity that brought it back down, and gravity is the same every time you do it, right? Gravity will never change. So no matter how hard or how soft you hit the key, the sound was exactly the same. And you can tell that they were disappointed in that because the fancier harpsichords later in the 1600s had a shift mechanism where you could grab 2 knobs and pull it to the left, and it would add a second set of the same pitch of strings up so that it would hit 2 strings at the same time, because they were frustrated that they couldn't get a loud sound or a different sound anytime they played it. And it was finally that we said, well, instead of allowing gravity to drop down and hit the string, let's put a hammer in it and smack that sucker, and then we can play it both loud. If we hit it really hard, it'll be loud, but if we hit it really soft, the hammer will just touch it like this, and it will be able to play both loud and soft. And that's how the name pianoforte came about. That's more information than you probably ever wanted to know about the piano. Looking at the middle of page 16, if you have never identified pitches on the piano before, here's a way to do it. The next to the last line shows all of the C's on the piano, and what we want to do there is notice that the C's are the second of a pair of two notes that are not separated by a black key. But even further, there are 3 black keys on the left side and 2 black keys on the right side. And that's how you identify C. F, which is at the bottom line, shows you the very same method. There you can find an F all the way up and down the piano by finding 2 keys that are not separated by a black key, but in that case you need to have 2 black keys on the left and 3 black keys on the right. How many are Stevie Wonder fans? Good, 2 of us.
Oh.
3 of us, 4 of us. Sam Cam, I forgot Sam Cam, 4 of us. You ever try to transcribe any of his music, as in listen to it on the radio and then try to figure out how to play it? Or listen to it on your CD and try to figure out how to play it?
Not on piano, but yeah.
Good, don't ever do that. Buy it off the rack down at Glenn's, or order it online, because he plays in some of the weirdest keys that are just almost ungodly to play. It seems like his favorite key is either F sharp or G flat, which is a whole bunch of black keys and very few white keys. He also likes to play in C sharp or D flat. Some of our absolute worst keys are his favorite. Anybody know why?
He's blind.
He's blind. It's easier to find the 3 and the 2, or the 2 and the 3, than it is to find a middle C if you're blind, trying to all the white keys feel the same. Right? So he has learned to play the piano by feeling the black keys and knowing whether I'm on an F sharp or G flat now, and I'm on a C flat or C sharp or D flat now, and something like that. So that's one way that, if you're blind, that's a way you can sort of use your hands to figure out where you are. Let's look at 17. It says here, the following pitch sequences are the opening notes of 4 songs you may know. Find and play these pitches at the piano, and name each song if you can. When you have completed your work at the piano, practice singing each song fragment with letter names. Nah, probably not. But how many of you, if I ask you to come up here and find middle C, how many of you could do it? Many? Oh, you could use the book, yeah, okay. If you were using the book, you could find middle C. And just for your information, middle C is not quite middle C. There are more keys on the right than there are on the left. But it's middle C is the closest C to middle. And that's why we call it C. Middle C, I mean. Tell me if you would do this, and you may not hum, but I want you to look at that first. I heard you hum. I want you to look at that first line there, and I want you to tell me, I want you to make that happen in your head, not in your vocal cords, but in your head, and tell me what song that is.
Frère Jacques.
Very good. Did all of you get that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Are You Sleeping?
Mm-hmm. Are You Sleeping is also Frère Jacques or Brother John.
Frère Jacques is the French.
That's right.
The correct version.
Brother John is in English. All right. Take a look at the second one. Now, this one usually fools people because of the lack of rhythm. It does not go G, 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 E, C. Those are the right pitches, but those are not the right rhythms.